You are listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our Sex Podcast Collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Horny Housewife Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan. Welcome if you're new. I had a great birthday. I feel refreshed, fed, and loved. I almost said something not ladylike, but I decided to start off ladylike in case there's like new people here. So, do you know the average length of foreplay is 12 minutes? Which at first I was like, you know what? Better than 5. But truly, when I've read Reddit, when I've pulled on Instagram, when I've like done my homework, like the articles, what do women say? Ideally, I think both sexes, if they're intentional, would get down with this, but everyone's answer was like 15, 20 minutes. Really, if I averaged 20, I don't have a vibrator in my lap, it was my phone. 20 minutes. So alert, alert, alert. If you didn't hear like a little homework, that was a little homework. Next time you have sex, 20 minutes before any P in the V, okay? And I'm going to say 15 minutes before anything is inserted, okay? In any orifice. Rub, peruse, kiss, tickle, scratch, tug, spank. They're like, no, massage, make out, make out, make out, make out, make out. 15 minutes before maybe a little fingy action, okay? So I just immediately made your next sexual experience better. You're welcome. So, any updates? Okay, yeah, sure, I'll tell you one. Everyone was like, don't give a troll attention. See, I feel like that's what they want. And they're like, don't give them what they want attention. Why not give them what they want? I think why not? Why not? Is it because it satisfies them? I don't know. I think it's totally fine to be like, hey, David, you're really ballsy behind the keyboard. Bet you wouldn't say that to my face. So was it last week's intro? No, it wasn't last week's intro. It was the week before. I was like sad about the things that had happened in the world because I think no matter where you fall politically, I would think that like we all have regard for life, you know? And anyone that takes joy out of lost life, like something's going on there. And so there was a mean person who like sent a screenshot being like, I'm canceling the Patreon. See, I'm canceling it because of what you said. Like, okay, your profile picture is an upside down American flag. It's kind of giving like weird. It's kind of giving your whole personality is being a weirdie. So that was that person. And I did make a rage intro, which I'm not going to have here. Like I'm done. I finished on Patreon. So if you want to hear me be rude, that's in the intro of the smutty audio erotica. So for the loss of David, you've already been replaced, David. You were replaced 30 minutes later when you left, okay? And what was that slutty story? It was part 3. My geeky roommate walked in on me. And it's really good because Acorn Sweet Leaf, if you know, you know. She's just next level with her erotica. And that is a great foreplay tool. That wasn't even on purpose. The Patreon is your foreplay place. So if you need something to add, if you're nervous about that 15, 20 minutes, slide in. I got you covered. Put some earbuds on, get the massage oil out. Y'all will be roaring ready to go by the end of this story. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow. Okay, today we've got a little listener questions per usual. If you want to write in, go to thehornyhousewifepodcast.com and select Ask Anonymously. Now, before we get into that, I know why, another reason why I brought up David, Dickhead David, was I was like, okay, your approach to a person, when you come at someone and you attack them, you label someone, you say, you don't care about dying children. Like when someone attacks you and they're a stranger and they know nothing about you, there is no relationship there. But what happens to people? We're put on the defense, like you usually put a person like, it's a bad vibe, okay? You emitted hostility. Sometimes that's matched right back at you, okay? So it's not like surprising, okay? Sometimes people's maturity will surprise you, their mature response, and they don't match it back. But if you're immature, you might match it back. But imagine like in any relationship, a friendship, a fucking stranger like we just said, your lover, your spouse, when we show up and we are quick to label or to point out everything, or we start romanticizing longing for potential elsewhere, everything starts to get miserable. That vibe isn't good either. It could be hostile, or it could just be womp womp. It could be sad. It could be boring. It could be icky, where like they're just so not cutting it for you. They're just so not being this. This is what you want. Imagine if they were like this. Imagine if she did that. Imagine if she acted like this. Imagine if she said those things. If she did this, then I'd be like this. And it's all this if only. The woodpecker sighed, the grass was as green, as soft as the sky. Okay. If only. I saw a TikTok, and she said that like in every relationship you reach this form of disillusionment. Like you're past the honeymoon phase. The little rosy glasses are gone, and you see people for more who they are, their flaws and all. And so many people get divorced around this time, right? There's like, I've heard so many things. Oh, if you can get through the first 18 months of your children's life, you can make it through anything. If you can get through this, you can get through anything. Like you hear these over and over and over. And I guess it's like, there's probably a better chance for couples that they see that, especially like, I really think Derek and I have an advantage because we both came from parents who like were stuck it out. Like they made that choice over and over and over again. That does, right? It does. I think statistically speaking, if you're a product of divorce, you have a higher chance of getting divorced. Obviously, like that certainly cannot be the truth, but it makes sense, right? But you get to that stage of disillusionment and it can be upsetting, or you're like, I'm with the wrong person. Like, oh, they're actually like, that's not what I wanted. I wanted like nice, kind, sweet, patient, let me, like no shit, Sherlock. Okay. But remember why you chose them. And I would like to think, especially for those of us who like didn't get married at 20 years old, we got married after our frontal lobe came in, that there's a reason. There's a reason you chose that person, and we evolve and we grow. But it's to be expected, like the ebbs and flows. You get to that, you ride through it, and then there's like, it's so like rewarding on the other side of that. And it doesn't mean there's just like one stop, like, oh, we got to this spot in the relationship. If we get through it, it'll never happen again. It's like, no, it's the realization that love is not enough. Love will not sustain a relationship. Like, yeah, but we love each other. It's like, that's great. That's great. But loving someone, we know, how many people have we heard say that they love their spouse? they'll cheat on their spouse, and they don't want to divorce their spouse, and they love their spouse, but they also want to go get some ass over there. You've heard that. You've heard you love them, but it's really toxic and really fucked up, and they treat you like shit, or you're really disconnected, or you don't know how to communicate, or the kids, like, all these different things, and it can just completely crumble. And then you hate them and or feel indifferent, apathetic, and you've just completely grown apart, and then that just all fizzles out. So love, I guess depending on how you define it, if love is action, which, right, I say this later in the episode, it's a noun and a verb, but you're going to have to make a conscious choice when you don't feel the fuzzy wuzzies, this is going to take hard work. And how do I show up? Do I provide a safe space? Do they provide a safe space? What's conflict like? Do I consider them? Do I dismiss them? Do I love them in the way they want to be loved? Do I pursue them? Am I intentional about how I prioritize them? How we come together? How we raise our kids? Blah, 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 blah. So if you want to be together, you're going to have to recognize, especially if you're sucked into your phone all the time, that the couple that's filming them having their warm, fuzzy, desi little Disney movie love moment, that's balagana. So you can go romanticize that and go find the guy that's really good at doing that. And then he's going to do it to a different girl in like a couple weeks after that. Just kidding. But you're going to sabotage your relationship if you cannot accept that awareness of, oh, this person is like this. Do something about it. Talk about it. Say, hey, when you said that, when you do that, it makes me feel really crappy inside, and I feel dismissed, and it's making me feel really resentful. And so we gotta talk about this because I can't keep that shit inside of me. It's when you stop saying those things, and sometimes men think, oh, she's accepting me. Like as time's gone on, she's accepting me because she's bitching less and less. You could be in great danger. Great danger. She may be just checking the fuck out on you. She doesn't complain and nag because she's nagged about the same thing for so long and it's nothing has changed. So she's not going to walk into that disappointing conversation anymore. So you think she's accepting it when really you're fucking clueless and she's actually checking out on you. We've heard that over and over and over again, that like women will like mourn the relationship while they're in it. And then when the men realize, this is just a common story, not always, it can be flip-flopped as well, but oftentimes you hear this, the men will be like, oh God, I gotta get my shit together. I've been neglecting this. I need to like get on it. And all the damage that has been done during the period of you not showing up, or all the missed bits for connection. And there are couples that ride through this, but I guarantee you it had a lot of radical honesty that had to occur, where he had to come in and be like, I've done fucked up and I don't want to take this relationship for granted anymore. And that's why you must keep talking. Silence will do you no good. Silence can feel easy sometimes. It can be, is it more peaceful or is it depressing? Sometimes it's mistaken as peace when really it's like a frog in boiling water and it's murdering it. And my last TikTok tie-in to end this conversation that will hopefully, it's just a little, like this is like my defibrillator conversation because you've heard it before, duh. And listener questions are coming, don't worry. But sometimes you need that because we can get back into this narrative in our head, especially for my doom scrollers. Like any doom scrollers, when you give them a touch grass combo, they're just like, oh yeah. Gratitude, baby. The TikTok same creator. Let's shout her out because we don't want to just, these are not my word. Bayavoce, Bayavose. I don't want to fuck her name. I feel so disrespectful. But she would be just amazing on this show because she's just got some fire ass shit. So basically she said these are her words, and I'm paraphrasing here. That one partner in a relationship, like there's this dynamic, and I related, and I think there will be other people that relate. I know because I look at the questions that you write in. Now, there's one that pushes for the change. They're the podcast listener. They're the therapy. They're the like active valuing personal growth and like chasing after evolution and change, okay? And they're exhausted, okay? The other is holding space for what already feels okay. She said it is more so like this is what is right now and things aren't that bad and like they're going pretty well and like more like in the moment, I suppose. So one's the change partner and one's the acceptance partner. And the acceptance partner may feel like the change person. It's talking about the same thing all the time, beating a dead horse. It's never enough. They feel exhausted, and just like the change partner may feel exhausted and alone in their efforts and see the acceptance partner as lacking motivation or like we're incompatible, when in reality what she was talking about, and she had sources from, I think Dr. Alexandra Stockwell was her name, and cited like research that backs this dynamic up, that it's not dysfunction, that it's just this dynamic and this cycle. And instead of, if we view in that way of just exhausted and disgusted and it's never enough, or they have no motivation and they're a lazy piece of shit, like how is that going to go over? You know what I mean? Like that's not going to be delightful, and that sounds miserable. And then we tie right back into now longing for potential elsewhere or in the marriage that's not showing up. And now you have unhappy people in the marriage. So she went on to say it's valuing and being grateful for what is there now, like challenging both people in different ways, being aware of the dynamic and going, okay, like I am more that person and I relate to more of this. And she was like, if you're the acceptance partner and you're seeing this, send it to the change partner. It's like they always show up on the change partner FYP. Like the videos that you want sent to you or that you would love your spouse to see, you're getting those. It's funny. Isn't it ironic? But it wasn't we're fucked. We're done fucked. Another common issue, like disillusionment, where a couple could go, this means we're not it. This means we're not supposed to be together. I'm with the wrong person. And no, incorrect. You can be happy, fulfilled, enjoy your partner. Not just like be okay, but like be happily married. Yeah. You can have hot sex with him. Yeah, you can. If you don't believe you can, the chances just went down. But just know, if any of that sounded familiar, you indeed can. And getting aware of how the other person operates, and one of you being like, what's going good right now? Like, oh, they don't operate in the same way that I do. Oh, it's really cool that she values that or he values that and betters themselves and works on themselves, and looking at it in the light of like something you admire and that's endearing instead of just depleting you, even though you could feel like that sometimes. And then your partner who you may view as like lacking motivation, really stop and think about all that person does. I bet you, when I think about what my husband does, I have been in a place where I'm like, well, I just love all those things, and he just doesn't like all those things. My husband does so much. And I am so appreciative and so grateful. And so when you get in those little pockets, you literally start believing things that are untrue. Like they're not true and they don't serve your marriage. So take a nice big look-see and see if, are you feeding in to delusion? Because you're not the same exact person. So hopefully that didn't make you feel worse. That made you feel better. Let's get into listener questions. Get cozy. Watch it on YouTube. Subscribe to the show. Leave me 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Write a review. You know I need a good review. Just write me a good review. Okay? If you didn't do that, that could have been a birthday gift for me. I did say Thursday through at the end of the day yesterday, which was the day after my birthday. Like, it's my birthday, you have to. For my birthday. But it's my birthday. Love you. Life moves fast, guys, and sometimes we just need something to help us relax or recharge or focus or get us in the mood for sex. And that is where Via comes in, okay? Via is the go-to brand for effect-based hemp products that are actually designed to do something. So whether you're looking for deeper sleep, better focus, more balance, or just a gentle high, you'll find something that fits your vibe. The High Love Gummies, okay? People are like, what's your favorite libido gummy? What's your favorite? The High Love strain by Via Hemp, an aphrodisiac herbal blend that's just chef's kiss with a mild medium dose of THC. That is what you want to bring into the bedroom. So they have different products with different strengths, and Via lets you fully customize your experience to fit your needs. So whether you're looking to support your daily wellness routine, enhance focus or clarity, unwind with deep relaxation, Via has you covered. And the best part, Via legally ships across the U.S., discreet, direct to your door, no medical card required, and backed by a worry-free guarantee. So if you are 21 and up, treat yourself to 15% off and get a free gift with your first order using my exclusive code HOUSEWIFE at viahemp.com. That's VIIAHEMP. Plus, enjoy free shipping on orders over $100. So click the link in the episode notes or go to viahemp.com and don't forget to use promo code HOUSEWIFE. I don't know what guy isn't down to level up his performance in the bedroom, okay? Let's leave her with a lasting impression. Something she can write home about. What girl isn't going to be, down for harder, longer, yummier, better sex, okay? Blue Chew, that's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. It's all done online. It's super, super easy. And right now I got a special deal for our listeners. You can go to bluechew.com, and when you use promo code HOUSEWIFE, you will get your first month free. Just pay $5 flat, nothing more for shipping. That is it. So click the link in the episode notes or go to bluechew.com and use code HOUSEWIFE to get your first month of Blue Chew free. Okay, we've got some heavy freaking listener questions this week. Controversial, and we need to go on the mountaintop and scream about it. And this question is why this podcast exists, because there's so many men that are doing it so wrong, okay? It's awful. It's tragic. Okay, let's read it. A lot of the men that write into my show, they don't know what to do. It's because you're doing it like this. So let's hear a wife's perspective of just being icked out about it every time he comes around. Oh, baby girl, I need help. 52-year-old wife. We've been together since 95, married 05, so 20, 30 years. In 2015, he had 2 different emotional affairs, really what the fuck. We sort of put in the work to fix that, and now we're okay, kind of, but the physical intimacy is negative 8,000. So you're not okay. He always initiates, me never, zero drive. I'm sure it's mostly hormonal, but I don't have insurance and can't get anything fixed. I'd honestly kill to have the funds to start a GLP-1 or hormone therapy and some sort of mental emotional therapy. Girl, like I urge of you, I'm not going to go on a rant for this, but like you've got to find some, like get resourceful, find avenues. There is cost-effective way to get therapy, hormone therapy, to get in with the doctor somehow, some way. I know if you wanted to bad enough, you could. I mean, there's freaking like care credit cards that give you like 18 months to pay it off. It's worth it for the sake of like how you feel and show up day to day. I think that's investing in yourself and worth it. Anyways, I would do the hormone, then the mental emotional therapy, and then GLP-1s. Like that's the order I would start, but I would start with the hormone therapy as number one. Okay. Back to the question, because we've got stuff to talk about. When he does initiate, men, when he does initiate, here's what it is. Always. Number one, here's the number one option. You know what I decided? I'm going to get that booty tonight. Sadly, there are other people listening that are looking over at their husbands, or there's a husband listening going, I've said that. I think I've said a variation of that. So don't do that. I almost said, well, unless you feel really confident that it's cheeky or organic and like fitting, but I feel like too many of you are going to think it is. And she's like, actually, no, I do hate when he says that. Unless you have a thing that I'm going to get that. Okay, stop it. Number two, me saying no. And then next, 3 later in bed, he'll roll over a little bit, looks at me and says, what you doing? God. It never changes. I answer nothing. That's the wrong thing. Me actually sort of trying, again, not interested, but about 10 minutes every couple of months. Oh, what's the right thing? 3, he'll either give up and roll over, or he says, giving me that booty. Ugh. Or he starts rubbing. Ugh. Now I need to say the rubbing is so not sexy, which you're like enabling this behavior, by the way. Like you're not getting off scotch-free. Like I'm gonna roast some men for a second to like be like, listen, guys, like, is this how you want her retelling the sex stories to her friends? Is this what kind of letter you want her to write to me? But I'm also like, you are a part of this. You are like, you're enabling and you're playing along with this little cycle. Get out of the cycle, break the cycle. His hand shoved hard onto me, C word, 1 finger, maybe 2 flicking hard as hell at my other C word. Or rubbing, why am I like censoring? Or rubbing furiously in a back and forth circle. It's YouTube. I say, ouch, mood is ruined. And he rolls over or decides he wants some, grabs and rolls me over, puts it in, pumps 5 or 6 times, never more than 1 minute. At the end, he acts like it takes, in all caps, absolutely everything out of him. And he rolls off and goes immediately to sleep. Ooh, sounds like a nightmare. Never pillow talk, never I love you, never me finishing. Well, he thinks you're completely disinterested. And like this doesn't excuse his like behavior, like really living up to some ugly stereotypes right now, but we're going to get there. Never listening when I do want him to give me anymore. In his head, he got his climax, and now the meaning of fucking is done and over. You need to say that to him. I've been listening to you for a few years. I love I've heard you hundreds of times say, let's talk about it after pillow talk. Again, that doesn't exist in any form. If I do initiate, same scenario, he's done, it's over. Blowjobs, musky smell, it's gross, but I am used to it every single day. If he says, hey, go get a shower first, it's not sexy right now, he's disgusted, put off, and it's over. In the normal times before the last year or so, again, I'm sure it's mostly menopause. I used to love to suck. I used to love anal. I used to finish myself after he was done. I've literally begged him to just hold me when it's done while I do me, and he ignores me and rolls over and goes to sleep. 3 years ago, I tried talking in the act and asked him to talk to me, to pull my hair, to spank me, to give it to me harder, anything. He laughed, and I felt like the most put off person ever. So I've never talked again. Jordan, please help me. What do I do? One more thing. I sent you a book, but I forgot to say this. And guess what? It was worth it. Like, I kept reading. Some I'm like, I can't keep reading this. But like, I kept reading. He also acts like I'm mom. I'm responsible for everything. I work more hours. I make more money. I do all the housework. He's outside, all the cooking, everything else. He literally says you're supposed to. He literally treats me like his mom. That's killing my drive because there's nothing less sexy to me and I don't want to fuck my dependent. Okay. So that one more thing changed my answer to the question. So the first one, I would have like really been like, it's time to have this really honest conversation, which that's going to happen. Like, that's my response to you for both of these, duh. But now our approach is different because knowing all of that, is it even worth, like, I was just going to be a little bit nicer. I was going to see both sides. But now I have more context because beyond the menopause, you're also like in your masculine in a way by being his mom, because you're like, oh, wait, that's like nurturing. But if you're making all the money, you're providing, you're working longer hours during the day than coming home to cook, clean, serve. It's like, ew. And so all of the problems you listed and telling me, like, if you were like, I'm 29, if you're like, my answer would be different. I would be like, bye, time for chapter 2 or 3 for me, because I really would. Because emotional affairs, you said? And do we know? Like, do you actually? Probably not. Don't want to make you in a tizzy. But I bet he had more than an emotional affair, okay? And it's giving like he literally doesn't give a fuck. It's not like he's come to you. You never said, oh, he's come to me and like wants to know so badly, or he's tried every way. It sounds like his initiating sucks ass. So I owe all the men an apology right now. How dare I project and just generalize to everyone? This was going to be a lecture for the men. Look at how bad you're sucking. No, this guy sucks. This guy super sucks. And I know there are a lot of men out there that are going up with a boob grab, this booty, your dad jokes, bleh, and like feverishly rubbing the clit, and it's like, slow down, pacha. Like slow your roll. Kiss. We want to kiss. Unless your breath is bad. But like, give a fuck a little bit. You know, I'd rather it be more intentional and it's all delightful than you being in like mom mode and he's trying to be like great, like 50 Shades of Grey, thinking it's going to be hot to push you up against a wall. Or maybe he listened to the wrong episode and he's got like garlic breath and you're like overstimulated and you're like, this is not how he's envisioning this is going to go, and thinking I'm just going to want to be like, oh, dear, you know, but I'm like, instead. So there's that. And it's for this camera angle. Someone was like, why is that woman's hand so big? I guess that's just the camera placement because the camera's closer there. Okay. Now that we know he just overall truly sucks. He's bringing nothing to the table, okay? If this man had like a very demanding job and he was checking the boxes in some other areas and just like basically has a low EQ, really not, needs to be informed and educated about what's going on for his wife, her body, what she likes. Like we were going to give him a pass of just being like a little stoop, a little R word. I shouldn't say that. You said what you said. You don't want to fuck your dependent. So if I were you, I would sit his ass down because sit your little boy down and say, here's where I'm at. And maybe you want to like actually be passive aggressive. This is like not the advice I would ever give anybody, but like you're telling me your story. So like I'm saying, let's be a little bit psycho or a little toxic or a little immature. I say you just check out. I maybe a little bit. No, am I going to get shit for this? And then if he notices, maybe he won't. So see, maybe just, don't play the games. Sit him down and say, hey, read the message that you sent to me to him. Maybe you should say, this is what I wrote a podcaster. No, don't do that. Don't do that. But take notes from the letter that you sent me and say, hey, the sex, I would give it, what would you rate it out of 1 to 10? Ask him that. What would you rate our sex life 1 out of 10? And say brutally honest. And then I don't care what he says. You're not talking about it. You can ask why, like he needs to explain. And then I don't want any word except for you to give now your score back and tell him why you're not liking it, and your meanness and delivery is dependent on the score and reasoning he gave you. See, I'm being very mature. And then you can say, you know what? It's just not hot. I've never wanted to be a son fucker, and I don't think that you want to fuck your mom. Do you? Do you want to fuck your mom? I don't think you want to. Is this going to hurt me for the YouTube? Oh, sorry, I do not understand. Well, there goes the monetization. Okay. Mommy no likey. Okay. I want a lover, not a man child. Okay. So I am 52 years young, still got time and energy. And maybe you're like, I don't have energy, but you're going to get those hormones right, girly pop. Because literally, if your hormones were in alignment, this guy would have been gone. You would have been probably doing other things because you would have felt alive inside, and you're just not alive inside. And so you're letting this man just shit all over your life. So I think you need to leave him. And I am pro family. And right now, it sounds like he's not being a really good family member. So maybe he needs to get put in timeout. So I'm not saying race to get papers, but maybe you do want to call every divorce attorney within a, 100-mile radius so that it's a conflict of interest for him. Maybe you want to just get your belongings and say, I want a boyfriend. So you can hate me and call me a big whore, but really, you've held my little whore back because I've wanted to be a whore for you. Why do I want to call him Michael for some reason? Like, why do I just want to call him Michael? You never said that, okay? Michael, I've wanted to be your slut, okay? But you know what? You're not breeding a slutty environment. You're making me hate your fucking guts. And maybe you already hate my guts. So what should two people do that hate each other's guts? They either fuck it out, which that's not happening. Work it out, which how, who, what, when, where, show me if you got it in you, or they leave each other the fuck alone. So good luck, go feverishly rub some other girl's clit while she fakes it, and I'm gonna go find someone who wants to be around me, okay? Because you're gonna go on a good date and go, what have I been doing? And my answer would have been so different if this was someone's husband and they had small children. It would be. But I would say if I was 52 years old and this was my letter to someone, I would be like, I need to write a letter to an attorney. Okay? So there's that one. Moving onward. And this one, like, I should have done this one second. Okay. This one's from a pastor. And so let's be a little more polite. Hi, Jordan, longtime listener and huge fan of the show. I'm happily married to my wife for almost 14 years, and we have 3 amazing kids. I'm a pastor of a church. Your podcast has not only helped me personally, but I'm always using your advice to the couples that have come to me for help. I've even sent them links to your show for them. That is so wild to me. No regrets. I've heard you say that you have a church background, and I'm not sure if you're still living that life. I don't go to church, but even now I want to hear some biblical principles. But even now I hear some biblical principles on your show. Okay, here's my question. I need help for a sermon. I'm getting ready for a sermon series on marriage, and the text is from Ephesians. Basically says, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church, and the wife to submit to her husband. I know this verse can come off extremely offensive out of context, and this is the furthest thing from popular, correct? What is your take on how a husband should lead, and what does submission to your husband look like to you? Send me your honest perspective. Don't hold back, even if we disagree. It won't stop me from listening. Thanks. Okay, so love the question because now I'm able to give my interpretation or just like share it. I did kind of like write a little small note, and I know I'll just like spiral off of that. But I wanted some like thought, intention, like something that came to my mind as I was reading it. And I'm like, write this down because you're not in front of the camera right this second. So obviously the Bible, has sparked a lot of controversy among different denominations and religions as it can be interpreted in so many ways. And even me saying that is an opinion, right? Someone else would be like, no, it is exactly what it says. But then that would be fucking crazy. But all I can do is share my opinion from my perspective, and I'm sure it's gonna, be slightly like a splash of cynicism, realism, woo-woo, but that's like the only way that I can wrap my head around. You asked me what I thought about that text specifically, and so what I thought was, okay, kind of like a parallel to like yin and yang. Just ride with me. Just stay with me. The masculine and the feminine and how it was intended to be that way. Like the divine, the God that created us. There's order, there's flow. And when the masculine loves, provides for, holds, keeps safe, adores, cherishes, then this woman, she in turn can blossom in her feminine role, which is more naturally subservient, cheerfully subservient, making the house a home. It becomes a joy to do so, a pleasure. She feels safe and seen and able to grow like ivy encompassing a home and wrapping around her family. Okay, this was the visual that I got, that I went in my notes app. Creating a family, honoring and trusting her husband. So if you have the dynamic, because it did say that at first, it said, husbands, love your wife as Jesus loved the church, right? And wives, be subservient. So, be submissive, submit to your husbands. So that's like what bodes well with me. But I am not one who, just being transparent, looks to scripture as my, this is the only way to live. I don't know. That's not my fact book. Do I find I'm open-minded and I'm open? I know God sees my heart, and that gives me peace. So I have my own over-analyzing battle with logic and lots of things that I'm not going to do right here, right now. But back to this question. what does that look like for me? So again, that whole ideal situation that I just described again is like ideal, right? Like that's just not always. We're ever evolving, yet always whole, but it's not just like, this is how someone shows up consistently. Yeah, we would love to be with people who it was like extremely consistent, but for a lot of us, life can make certain chapters, seasons, circumstances different where it may be harder to show up in a certain way. Maybe it's the career you've chosen. Maybe it's how many kids you have. Maybe it's unexpected loss. Maybe it's unexpected gain. Maybe, all these things that impact us. And it's like little pebbles thrown in the water and the little ripples. So I could see how that dynamic is one that would reap the most if you believe that was how it was intended to be, how God designed it. Maybe you don't, though. You know what I'm saying? So I don't love it. It is offensive. It sounds like because he's a guy, you submit. So no, if you don't like it, you have to do it anyways. So I know if I didn't agree with something or there was a decision that needed to be made, like I know Derek is going to consider me in that, and I am not going to hold back. And if it was really mattered enough, there are some hills I'd die on kind of thing. But I will say that I think there are rewards, blessings, my opinion, my experience for sharing. You can share how you view something, your stance on it, maybe what you do, how you feel about it, but putting the ball in their court. Y'all following me, ladies? Going, at the end of the day, that is your call, your decision. And there are some things that are our decision, that are a family decision. But like, for instance, with my husband's company, like that's his baby, that's his company. And anytime I'm like, I'm so proud of you, he's always like, I'm so proud of us, because damn well that was a joint effort. Damn well that takes everybody involved more than anyone knows. So say there's a decision to be made or hiring things or like just like futures, like plans, directions we want to go. He will often talk to me and consider me and get my POV. But at the end of the day, that's your decision and I respect that. And I'm going to ride by you and with you. It's never like, no, I am absolutely not putting my foot down for that. No, you need to show that you respect them as an individual. And it's almost kind of like the neck and the head. They respect you in turn and are considerate. And a very wise man knows that women are innately, divinely intuitive with this gift of discernment, more so than men, in my opinion. And so I guess that's all what you believe to be true. But I believe that women are far more intuitive and some women can just really read people, places, and things. And so if you have that dynamic and the man heeds his wife's wisdom, usually that goes over really well. You see that a lot. You see a lot of successful men with smart, intuitive women. But yeah, so if I was going to church and they were talking about that verse, I would receive it better if it was being told in the light of, men, when you love and you pour in and you show up emotionally for your wife, because that's loving it a lot, right? And what is love? How does the woman define love? What feels like love? And love is not just a verb, it's a noun. It's a noun and a verb. We need both of them. We need the noun and the verb. Action. And in turn, he will get the best version of said wifey. most of the time if she's not PMSing, correct? Maybe? Okay. Many other things. Would I probably be extremely triggered if my husband said, like, no, you have to submit to me? Like, yeah, I would, I don't like that. IDK my BFF Jill. So yeah, maybe they need to rewrite that. Maybe they need to like translate that one differently. Word it differently. Word it sugar-coated a little bit. But if we did like the yin and yang and how our creator intended us to be, which is just like, you don't need a book to tell you that. You can see from, I was about to be like, evolution, the monkeys, the apes, men, and just like primally what a man is and what a woman is. But now everything's so goddamn twisted and warped and like confused. And okay, we're bunny trailing. We don't want to hop off this trail. But yeah, very, very controversial. And I would love to hear other people's opinions of that. But I feel like a lot of my listeners are going to like jive with what I said. And that, yeah, there's like beauty in that. Like if you love a woman, right, cheerfully submissive. Like if you kind of relate to me in the dynamic, like the stay-at-home mom vibe, if you know, you know, I don't have to explain it. Like you can see, like when do we love being that woman? When do we just feel like it exudes from us? It's not a chore. I mean, there's lots of chores, but it feels like we're fulfilling our purpose. It feels so right. Like when after you give birth, you're like, I'm a fucking superhero. I'm such a badass. I just birthed a baby. A human baby came out of me. You know, you can't deny the way we were designed. So I know I'm like tiptoeing. I'm always like tiptoeing, dude. Living in Washington too long has got me fucking scared to hurt people's feelings. It's disgusting. Disgusting myself. But yeah. Okay. If you want to write into the Horny Housewife podcast, hop on over to thehornyhousewifepodcast.com and there's an Ask Anonymous forum. Even a pastor can do it. So come one, come all, ask away, and I will always protect your anonymity. And never did I ever think that a pastor would be sharing, go listen to the Horny Housewife download. Woo! See, can't judge a book by the cover. Can't judge a book by the cover. They're like, No, this was pretty, yeah. I mean, 18 and up. We know it's 18 and up. I would go as far as saying like 21 and up, unless you were a child bride. In that case, like, come here, I'll give you a hug, and we will get through this together. You might leave him, but you might stay, and I'm here for you. Okay. So don't hesitate, write in. Go follow me on social media at THHpod. If you're not watching, you can watch this show on YouTube. You heard me correctly. And even if you don't watch on YouTube, it would be so amazing if you could just go follow me over there. Someone wrote in and was like, I really didn't understand. I thought if I was listening to the show, that meant I was following the show, and that's not correct. So you really do, wherever you listen, make sure in the top right corner there's like a check or a following or a subscribed when you click the name of the show. You can go to the episode, click the name of the show, get to the show page, and make sure you're following. That helps me so much. I love you a long time. And if you didn't hear the Patreon of me being really rude to the man that I briefly mentioned in the intro, you can go do that. And there's a really slutty, smutty story. It was part 3 to my geeky roommate walked in on me, Mr. Schmooting. So go check that out. You can get access to the Patreon on thehornyhousewifepodcast.com or go to patreon.com/thehornyhousewifepodcast. I will see you next week.